Hello and welcome, everyone, to the House of European Football here in Nyon for the knockout phase playoff draw of the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League. The new era of the world's premier club competition delivered unforgettable drama and excitement in its first ever league phase. Clubs battled relentlessly across 8 gripping match days, with everything building up to a truly historic and extraordinary finale. It's fair to say that on Wednesday night, the eyes of the sporting world were firmly focused on what was a decisive day in the UEFA Champions League, as almost every club had something to play for. Each match a domino in the larger picture where one decisive goal or one game-changing save could reshape the final ranking. It was truly an exhilarating experience, and let's take a quick look at how it all played out.
There is quite a night ahead of us across the continent. So often the Champions League provides occasions to savour, and this is certainly one of those. And an opening goal! What a start!
Superball, Miller, 1-0! Sigue Rodrigo, parte Rodrigo!
Florian Wirtz, and just what Leverkusen needed.
Eda's there again! How about this from Celtic?
Lille restore their lead. It took a big deflection on its way. What a cracking hit that is!
Scoort Club Brugge op voorsprong.
3-2 PSV.
Pulisic, botta secca!
And now it's Ramsey. Watkins is on marks. 3-2 Villa.
That's not bad for Josko Vardiol. Oh, it's in! It's an own goal! And is it salvation in the Champions League for Manchester City?
Eccolo!
Hat-trick per Giorgio Marchetti.
That was an emotional roller coaster.
Wow. A truly unforgettable night of football. And you know, there were 470 goals scored in 144 league play matches at a record rate of 3.26 goals per game. So exciting attacking football in full flow. And the excitement is sure to continue in this next round as all the contenders get ever closer to this year's final, which of course is taking place at the Munich Stadium on May the 31st. Before we proceed, let's take a look at the 16 clubs in today's playoff round draw. I'm sure you'll agree that was some great action there from the past round, but who will take on who now? That's what we will find out very shortly. Time to invite on stage the man who will, of course, preside over today's draw, and that is UEFA Deputy General Secretary Giorgio Marchetti. Welcome, Giorgio.
Thank you, Pedro. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This season, we set sail on a new era of the UEFA Champions League with the introduction of a new format featuring a league phase, as you know. Unpredictable and dynamic as expected, the league phase has delivered more high stakes and unique clashes, improved competitiveness, leading up to the breathtaking last match day drama that we've just seen. For 8 intense match weeks, the league phase rankings constantly shifted as clubs climbed and fell. Unexpected results stole the spotlight, with newcomers securing safe passage while former champions teetered on the edge of elimination. Now we know that it is absolutely true that every goal and every save really have the power to decide qualification or elimination. Clubs did not miss the essence of this new format, where winning every match is the only way to guarantee an outcome. The number of draws dropped to a bare 12.7%, down 7 points from the previous cycle, and 34 of the 36 teams recorded at least one victory in league phase. Just 5 points separated positions 8 and 25, which means round of 16 or elimination. Well done to Liverpool, the first club to claim the top spot in the table. They now advance to the round of 16, joined by the next 7 highest-ranked teams. For those ranked 9 to 24, the journey continues with the high-stakes knockout phase playoffs, where everything is on the line. Congratulations to all your teams indeed for keeping the dreams of their fans well alive. And today's draw will not only determine those crucial matchups, but also unveil the first glimpse of the path to this year's final in Munich. We'll set the seeded bracket in motion today, and we will complete it next month with the top 8 teams to reveal the road to glory for everybody. As we are getting started, let's now welcome today's special guest, a player who knows a lot about the winners of the league phase and the club who will host us at the final.
All right, and here he is. Please welcome on stage Tiago Alcântara. Welcome.
Hello.
Bem-vindo. Bienvenido, não é? Temos 3 línguas. Let's go with English.
Willkommen.
As well. Speaks German as well. I can't do that one, I'm sorry.
I know.
Let's do English then. We saw a little bit of your CV, 80 Champions League appearances, 2 titles. You know so much about this amazing tournament. What makes it special for a player, and how much do you miss it? Because you've just retired last summer, so it's fresh.
It's hard. First of all, congrats to all to be here in this stage. You did great this part of the season, so looking forward to see you in the next stage. And second, and it's a transition. I think it's great to see now as a reference, like Simão. I just see Simão now. Aduric, representative of Samamés, later as I've seen before. To know about this transition is important. To be humble enough to get aside the player and get to know what is next is really excited, to be fair. But as a player, for sure, you have this competitive thing. When you see Champions League, last games, that you can see a lot of matches. So
yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about, because Wednesday, I mean, I talked about it, Giorgio talked about it. It was special, right? It was historic. 18 matches all at the same time, teams going up, teams going down, every second really mattering. How did you live that night?
Computer, TV, iPad, everybody together to try to watch all games I can. For sure, I follow more the teams I've played with, but then I feel attracted with some teams as well to see how they play, how they behave on the pitch. It was nice. It was very special.
I have to ask you, Thiago, who has impressed you so far? Okay, the pressure's on teams, players who have kind of impressed you so far.
Yeah, it's very easy to talk about the teams that we know since we're kids, the big teams that won most of the trophies of Champions League. But then, in those days, you want a competition. You want to be dominant as well. And I got impressed with, for example, Atalanta with 1v1 situation, the whole pitch, and then you see Monaco that they created more men in the middle. So it was really nice to watch these two teams, but for sure, the teams that got in the next phase, like Leverkusen, Lille, or even Aston Villa, it's really impressed.
You're talking a little bit tactics like a coach. Is that the next step?
We never know. At the end, as a football player, we sticked from times for more than 30 years, and now it's just this freedom to let you know more about football.
Look, enjoy the experience here. It's amazing to have you. I'll leave you in Giorgio's capable hands in just a minute. Before we do so, let's take a quick look at the technical procedure, and we have a short video explaining the key draw principles.
The fixtures for the knockout phase playoffs are determined by means of a draw, conducted in accordance with the following principles. The draw features the clubs that finish the league phase in positions 9 to 24. The clubs ranked 9 to 16 are seeded, and those ranked 17 to 24 are unseeded. Clubs are paired based on their final position to form 4 seeded pairs and 4 unseeded pairs. Pairing 9 and 10 will play against either of the clubs in pairing 23 and 24. The clubs in pairing 11 and 12 will play against either of the clubs in pairing 21 and 22, and so on. In principle, the seeded clubs play the return leg matches at home. The draw is carried out using a seeding bracket, with each pair of teams allocated 2 predefined potential positions according to their league phase rankings. 8 bowls are prepared for the draw, with the balls containing the names of the seeded and unseeded teams placed in the corresponding marked bowls. The draw starts with the unseeded teams, with the bowl containing pairing 23 and 24. 1 ball is drawn and is opened to display the team. The first team drawn from this bowl is placed in their reserved spot on the silver side of the bracket. The other unseeded team of the pairing is then drawn and allocated in the corresponding reserved spot on the blue side of the bracket. The same procedure is carried out with the remaining unseeded teams. Once all the pairings of unseeded teams have been drawn and assigned to an appropriate position on the bracket, the draw continues with the seeded teams, starting with the pairing 15 and 16. The process is the same as for the unseeded teams, with the first team drawn allocated to the reserved designated spot on the silver side of the bracket, and the second team on the blue side. The procedure is repeated for the remaining pairings, finishing with the pairing 9 and 10 to complete the pairings for the knockout round playoffs. After the draw, if it becomes apparent that any ties are affected by city or stadium clashes, these clashes will be resolved in accordance with the principles set by the Club Competitions Committee for city and stadium clashes. The calendar of all knockout phase playoff matches will be available tonight.
Well, as explained in this video, here are the 8 bowls containing the pairs of seeded and unseeded teams according to their league phase rankings. The draw starts with the unseeded teams in descending order from pair 23-24 to pair 17-18. The first team drawn every time from each pair will be assigned to the silver side of the bracket and the second to the blue side. So first goes left, the second goes right. Once all the pairs of the unseeded teams have been assigned to a position on the bracket, then the draw continues with the seeded teams here, starting with the 15-16 and finishing with 9-10 to complete all pairings. Then the calendar of all knockout phase playoffs matches will be available later today. in the afternoon. So before we start, let's take a last look at the pairings, starting with the seeded teams. In positions 9, 10, we have Atalanta and Borussia Dortmund. Position 11 and 12 is Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. In position 13 and 14, it's AC Milan and PSV Eindhoven. Position 15 and 16, Paris Saint-Germain and Benfica. And then the unseeded teams, we have 17, 18, Monaco and Stade Brestois. 19, 20 is Feyenoord, Juventus. 21, 22, Manchester City. Celtic and Manchester City. And position 23, 24 is Sporting Clube and Club Brugge. That's all. We're ready. Thiago, I must ask you to move to this part of the stage because that's exactly where we start the draw with the positions, unseeded positions 23 and 24. Please, you will draw one ball at a time. And this is the first team drawn. Once again, going to the silver side to the left.
Club Brugge.
So that's Club Brugge, finalists of 1978, the only Belgian club actually to have reached the final of this competition. So Brugge is now placed on the left side of the bracket. So we need to draw the other team in the pairing. And with Brugge we had
Sporting Clube.
Sporting Clube, of course, and Sporting is taking position on the blue side, the quarterfinals in 1983. We had, for the first time in their history, a player scoring a hat-trick in the competition, Victor Gyökeres. He scored a hat-trick against Manchester City in this league phase. Now, with after position 23-24, we are ready to progress, and the next two teams are 21 and 22, either Celtic or Manchester City.
Manchester City.
And we go with Manchester City silver. Manchester City, everybody knows, winners of the trophy in 2023, and the Champions League record holder for the most successive matches, unbeaten, 26 before conceding to Sporting in this league phase. So who was with Manchester City? Because this club has to go now to the other part of the bracket, the blue side.
Celtic.
That's Celtic. Celtic, winners of 67, the only Scottish club able to make this triumph. So Man City silver and Celtic is blue. And we go ahead like this. We shuffle. And the next pairing is positions 19-20, Feyenoord or Juventus.
Juventus.
And this is Juventus is also going to the silver side. Twice winners, with a coach who has won twice as a player the competition with Barcelona, with Inter. And who is going now to the blue side in this pairing?
Feyenoord.
That's, of course, Feyenoord, the first Dutch club to win the trophy in 1970. So, only two unseeded teams are left to complete the first half of all ties. Position 17-18.
Stade Brestois.
Stade Brestois going to the silver part of the bracket. Brest is participating for the first time in a UEFA competition, and congratulations, their success is indeed great. So after Brest, obviously we need to draw another team which presumably comes from the same country, from the same league.
Monaco.
And that's AS Monaco, of course. AS Monaco, the finalists of 2004. AS Monaco going to the blue side. With this, we've done half of the job. Thiago, now please move to my left, and we are ready to complete the ties, one after the other. We start with positions 15 and 16, which is Paris Saint-Germain or Benfica, who will join the two French teams.
Paris Saint-Germain.
So first tie is an all-French tie between Brest and Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain participating for the 13th successive season in UEFA Champions League knockout phase. And now let's complete the other one. So to play against Monaco.
Benfica.
Benfica. So Benfica, winners back-to-back in 61-62. So Benfica will play against AS Monaco. And the winners of these two ties, Brest-Paris, Paris Saint-Germain or Monaco-Benfica, will face in the next round either Liverpool or Barcelona. That will be drawn in February. Let's go ahead and we are now with the other two positions, 13 and 14, Milan or PSV.
PSV.
So PSV Eindhoven is drawn to go against Juventus on the silver side. PSV winners of 1988, of course. And after PSV, we can draw the other team.
AC Milan.
Milan, so Milan playing against Feyenoord. That will create a double crossroads between Italy and the Netherlands. So Juventus versus PSV, Feyenoord versus Milan. And the winners will take on either Arsenal or Inter in the next round. So we're ready. We can proceed with shuffling now the balls containing positions 11 and 12. And 11 and 12 means Real Madrid or Bayern.
Real Madrid.
So Real Madrid is drawn to go to the silver side, which will give rise to a great challenge in this round, Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid will try to achieve their 500 matches in the season, but to do this they will need to go past Manchester City, so to play another round. This is indeed great, but we need, of course, to see the name of the team paired with Real Madrid, joining the blue side, which is
Bayern München.
Which is Bayern Munich going against Celtic FC, six-time winners of the competition, Bayern, as everybody knows, and the 17th successive season in knockout. Tiago, only two teams have to be drawn now to complete this roster, pairing 9 and 10, Atalanta or Borussia Dortmund.
Atalanta.
So Atalanta will play against Bruges. So same colors on the field. Obviously, one team will have to change their shirts when playing away to avoid any confusion. Atalanta is a great, outsider of the last few seasons and the title holder of the UEFA Europa League, playing against Bruges. Would you please show us the last ball and the last name?
Borussia Dortmund.
Which is indeed Borussia Dortmund, finalists at Wembley in 2024, taking on Sporting Clube de Portugal in this knockout playoff round. With this, we've completed all the matches, the 8 matches, and I give it back to Pedro.
Yeah, well done, gentlemen. You have completed the draw. Let's take a look at the result. So we'll have an all-French tie between Brest and Paris Saint-Germain. It'll be Club Brugge versus Atalanta. The blockbuster tie here is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Then Juventus will be taking on PSV. We've got Monaco versus Benfica, Sporting facing Borussia Dortmund, Celtic taking on Bayern Munich, and Feyenoord will be playing AC Milan. Now, as Giorgio mentioned, this means that we now have our first look at the UEFA Champions League bracket, so the 24 clubs can see their path to this year's final. Before we sign off, it's time to mark your calendars. The date of the first leg matches is the 11th and 12th of February, and the return is scheduled on the 18th of 19th as well of February. That'll do it from all of us here at the House of European Football in Nyon. From Tiago, Giorgio, myself, it's goodbye. Take care. We'll see you again very soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.